Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again. Got some wonderful message for you. Hope you looking forward and glad about it.
Federal prosecutors have already announced that
Well,
El Paso
I
attack
got a
will be
little
investigated
situation
as a
here
potential act of
that I
domestic
got to do
terrorism,
something
and
about.
that killer will be tried.
I don't know
because he
what it's
survived
going to
his
be,
attack. But in
but
addition
it's
to that
something
El
that
Paso
just
case
happened
today,
out of the sky and out of the blue. I got to try to deal with it. Anyway, the message today for you is this. Is that God is God, and there are no others that is God, and you owe allegiance only to God, and respect to one another as family, as brothers, that you live to accomplish those things that are essential for each and every last one of you for survival, such as food, clothing, shelter, education, health care, and a job, that your will might be done, that your dreams might come true, and your joys fulfilled with freedom and peace and prosperity. Basic things that are essentially desired amongst all humankind. That are established from the beginning of time by the Father of time, and of that which you seek. So we don't have that, and you need to know why. You need to know that you are not being given the truth, that every way that is open to you as far as life is, it is filled with deceit. And it is allowed to happen because you are not pure in the heart enough to receive the guidance from God. For instance, now I'm not talking about President Donald Trump, but he's just an example that can be used because everyone knows him and what he is about. And expressing his policies and his rants, it indicates that he is more faithful and more allegiance and more compact with evil, with the devil, with Satan, with self, than all Christians have together about God. You see, Trump is doing everything he wants to do, and he's just one, led by a spirit. Oh, he has his supporters, you can see that. But look at all of those who talk about God, who have joined forces with him to keep him, to make him, because that which he represents, though they might be indignant towards him, it gives them the power to be exactly like him. And so what we have is evil running the show. Now, you might ask yourself, what about all these preachers? I want you to know that every preacher that says, Lord, Lord, doesn't necessarily know anything about God. Some of the signs are these. If he's always talking about my Bible says, then chances are he's saying that because he has nothing that he can say God says. If he's been to school, those seminaries, he's been taught not the spirit. He's been taught the natural law and expressing it and evaluating it according to those laws instead of the spiritual law of God. And so everything that you get out of the church is basically connected and controlled by the systems of the world. But God is truly God. And the stuff that you say you want, you'll never receive, trust in anything else. And those of you who are listening to preachers, you should ask yourselves, what is it of their message? What is it of their interpretation of Scripture? What is it of their understanding through the studies of the Bible that they're teaching each and every last one of us every day? That if we as people chose to subscribe to it, would it produce that which is heavenly on earth? Could it do that? And if it can, explain it to us and how. And if it can't, then you can't help us. You see, you can't teach God when you don't know God. And the Bible, tutors and studies, these are efforts to tell you about God and all kinds of ways to tell you about God. But they can't tell you anything in relationship to God. They can't teach God. They don't know God. They know of God, but they don't know God. And so be taught God, you must know God. And to know God is to do God. And there are only about 5 to 10 people on earth that's doing God. They usually rotate around because they're killed off, put in prison forever, and others rise to the occasion, but still few, 5 to 10, all over the earth. And everything else is running the dictates of the devil. That's why we do not have world peace. That's why we do not have world prosperity. That's why we do not have world freedom. That's why we do not have world joy. And that's why we do not have the fulfillment of dreams by all the people of the world, because they deny God. And many, all of you, really don't know that fact, because each of you, in doing what you do, consider it a commitment to God. Really. You consider it a commitment to God. And your reasons for doing that is because that's the way you've been taught about God, not just in words, but in deeds and actions and the environments that you've been in. The way the system responds to you, your needs, and that which is important to you. You didn't just come into that state of mind. But nevertheless, you're there. And in order for this peace and stuff that I keep talking about to come out and be experienced by all you people, means that wherever you are at, you're going to have to come out of that to this, for which God offers to you. And you know it's of God because it works for you and it doesn't work against you. It works for you and it doesn't work against you. See, that's God. That's truly God. Let me tell you a little story and then I'm going to quit. Once there was a young lady I know, very kind, wonderful lady. She's been special in that she's loved God in her way for a long time. In her way, I'm basically meaning the way that she's been taught. To the most part, she's subscribed to it. Not everybody can cross all the T's and dot all the I's, but as humanly possible, I give her credit. She's engaged herself in fellowship and expressions of joy in the lives of people all around her. And she's done this for quite some time. She's always been a giver. She's participated in many birthday parties that people have come together with their respect and love for others and affection, and in secret come together and decided that they were going to choose a moment in time and fellowship and eat and laugh and dance and talk in celebration of one's birth, in celebration of that particular individual. Well, for the most part, she has had a few get-togethers where someone would bring a cake or a donut and put a candle on it and sing happy birthday. But the kind of limelights that others have been celebrated through, she never had those, and those are not her memories. And so on one particular occasion, this lady went to a town where most of her siblings were accessible. They could be reached and talked to and laugh on the phone and share good things with. And it so happened to be at a time that this was going to be this young lady's birthday. And so what this young lady did, she had so much compassion for her people and how much she cared about them and loved them. She decided on her birthday to have a get-together, to have a coming together family to celebrate my birth. And she invited them all out to Pizza Inn, where everybody can sit down and have pizza and share the salad bar and laugh and talk and take pictures. And she invited her entire sibling family, everyone that she could get in touch to and could reach, that was reachable and practical. And she invited her mother and father, elderly people, they're kind of elderly. One is older, but he has good mobility. The mom, she's worked herself really hard, showing love to her family, such a way till it's kind of caught up on her a little bit, but she's still excited about life, going to church and doing all those wonderful things. And they had indicated, they might not be able to come because of this affliction and this affliction, so on and so forth. But the young lady went on, scheduled this event, and she and her family went and had invited a couple others, and who also had decided to join in. And while they were in preparation, getting the thing started, people sitting around, those who were there, all of a sudden the other siblings started pouring in, a carload with this one, and another carload with this one, and their children. And all of a sudden the mother and the father came in, and to look down, it was like they were walking down a runway, a corridor. If I had my camera, I would have filmed it. It was absolutely fantastic to see that happening. And they all walked in, and she was happy, and everybody was happy because they were all there. It was almost like a family reunion. And they were there celebrating this particular young lady. And we were singing songs and chatting and talking with each other and about different things that had happened, during this expiration of time. And so, right in the middle of the festivities, this young lady got up and she thanked everybody for coming. And they were all there. She said how excited she was to see them and to see the children and to see her parents walk through that door, to see her brother walk through there, and her in-laws, and she was just thrilled pink, and one of the best celebrations she ever had. And when it was over, ladies and gentlemen, here's what's so fantastic. This is what is so divine about it. When it was over, she went and paid the tab. She even paid the tip. Nobody else would ever give an indication that there was anything about money. Who was going to pay for it or nothing. They just came and had an absolutely fantastic time. When it was over, I had gotten this information and I viewed it and I saw it as divine. And that this lady, wanting to see her siblings and parents and celebrating fashion, set this thing up and brought all her family together. And all her family had a wonderful time. And when it was over, they left everybody feeling happy because they had really enjoyed themselves. Somebody had made them important. Somebody had brought them out and treated them. And they went back home celebrating, feeling treated. And the woman who did it felt so treated they couldn't begin to feel the same kind of treatment that she felt. She felt so wonderful in the fact that they got together. And they came out for her. They didn't know what was going to be involved, but they know the end was greatly appreciated. So I just say that to say to you that that's what you call serving people. That's what you call washing the feet. That means loving people. Now, God has a plan that doesn't necessarily call you just literally washing people's feet, but it's a plan of protecting yourself by protecting one another. Everybody protecting each other. And no one is alone. We are all just that kind of family, sitting there at that table celebrating, rejoicing at what the Spirit has provided from the world that we can't even see, an understanding that if we implement, that we're able to sit and rejoice in life. And it's coming straight from another. And it's coming from God. And God is just as happy to see us enjoy life in the fulfillment of our dreams as this young lady was to see her family come together and to enjoy being together. That's God. Being the same way to one another is God. That's divine. So that's why I talk to you all the time about God, until you stop listening to politicians and stop listening to preachers and start listening to God, and whatever it takes for you to find God, reach out and recognize where God is at. Whatever it takes, do it. Because right now, you ain't serving nobody but the devil. Like again, let me end up with what I started with. It appears as though the President of the United States has more faith and more commitment to evil, to the devil and Satan, one man, got supporters now, than all of the Christians in America, or people of God. Let me stick to America. All of the Christians in America, all of them, put together, have faith and respect for the God that they talk about every Sunday. And the evidence is that they are talking, doing nothing. And the world is sinking into a pit hole to become what Donald Trump calls a shithole. And you, yes, again I say, there are maybe 5 or 10 on earth that God is respecting their service. The rest of us, we got to get busy. Till next time, this is Eddie Marcus saying goodbye.